All right. Hey, everybody. Good morning and welcome. I am here with Donna Fortier from MobileHope in Loudoun County, and we're going to be talking about MobileHope and their work and ministry and all the things that they're doing and how we're working with them as well. So good to have you with us, Donna. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Hi, everybody.
Absolutely. So, you were out to talk with us, I don't know, 2019, somewhere, I think it was.
That sounds about right. We can say pre-COVID.
Pre-COVID. It was. But not everybody maybe was here for that. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to uh, tell us a little bit about the basics with MobileHope, how you got started, and what it is that you're doing, and things like that. So fire away. How did this all get going, and what are you up to?
So Mobile Hope started about 10 years ago when I was the Director of Community Affairs and Mobile Health Services for Inova. And I was approached by a parent liaison who said there were homeless kids in Percival and we needed to help. And it kind of started from there. And it has morphed over the last 10 years to become a nonprofit that really focuses on our homeless youth or our youth in crisis. And our age limit is 24 years of age and younger, with a particular focus on those that are 18 to 24.
Okay. Wow. And so it just arose out of your that one invitation?
It really did because I started to do my due diligence thinking the richest county in the country absolutely does not have homeless youth. And unfortunately, that was not the case. We have a lot. And there was just really no program that was specifically dedicated to working with our homeless youth. And so it was created to meet that need and to fill that gap.
So these homeless youth, are they how are they coming to be in that situation? I mean, are their families, they don't have families, or what's going on with that?
It's really, there's not one answer. So they come to us for a variety of reasons. They may be aging out of foster care and there's no plan in place. They could be aging out of the youth shelter. They could get a C on a report card and are kicked out. They could just be a financial burden on their family. There could be differences in the household. And now that they're 18, their parents, say, well, we've raised you to 18, now you're on your own. So there is just a variety of reasons why kids walk through our door.
I imagine it's almost impossible to find a place in Loudoun County if you like don't have a job at all, or you're working like in a high school type job or something.
Yeah, it's very difficult. I mean, one of the first things that we try to do is establish that stable housing environment so that we can build upon that. And needless to say, housing in Loudoun is, almost impossible to find. But for our kids, they don't have the references, they don't have the savings for the deposits, they don't have the wherewithal to prove to a landlord that they would be good people to rent to. So it is a huge barrier. And then, of course, we try to get them employed so that we know what their budget is. And certainly what Mobile Hope does is we'll pay maybe the first month's rent, second month's rent as they get financially stable. And then our participation in their financial, apartment costs goes down as theirs increases. So third month, we might pay 90%, they pay 10. So it kind of, so we can help them become self-sufficient.
Wow. Okay.
That's why I
So
have bags under my eyes. It is a 24-hour-a-day job.
I imagine it is. Yeah. How many folks are you working with then?
Our
As
average,
far as clients?
our average caseload monthly is about 50. And that's, certainly our existing kids, but it's also new kids that come to us. Last week in one day, we had 5 new homeless kids that walked through our door. And in
Wow.
that same one day, we already had 17 kids that needed help.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And are they from all over the county, or
They are. They're from all over the county. We get referrals from, Department of Family Services, from probation and parole officers, certainly from the school, the faith community. People see kids or homeless individuals on the street and they call us. So yeah, they come from everywhere.
So where is it that they're coming to?
So we just moved. This was our 10th or 12th move in 10 years. And so we are now stably housed in the heart of Leesburg. We have always wanted to provide a campus environment for our kids, a one-stop shop where they could get, the life skills that they need, financial, budgeting, all of that, learn how to cook. So we're now, we have a campus here, which I would love you all to come out and see and do a tour, but we will have a store so the kids can certainly continue to shop, but learn retail sales. We're working on a trade school right now that will, teach HVAC, drywall, plumbing, electrical, all of that. We have a teen lounge where they can do their laundry and store their belongings. Because as my office, it used to have about 100 different go bags and backpacks, and just because we didn't have a place to store these kids' belongings. And then we're working on having a boxing ring and a fitness center. So we'll have some professional boxers help us create a program that kind of helps our kids learn how to positively work through their anxiety and frustration.
Wow, yeah. And keep healthy while they're at it.
And stay healthy, absolutely.
Wow. So what's kind of is there a typical process that one of your clients would go through in coming in and making their way out?
Yeah, it depends on how the kids come to us. But let's just assume on average, they are referred, even they may be referred by a current client. So they'll come in, and then Casey and I, who are the two case managers, will meet with the kids, kind of do an intake, and then work on setting up all of those services. We have our youth employment services here, which helps them get jobs. And so we'll have them meet with them, and then we work on, do they have their birth certificate and their social? Can we get that? And so just everything that's needed to help them become self-sufficient and successful, contributing members of our society. So we just kind of soup to nuts, whatever is needed, driver's licenses, we get cars donated. So we work to get the kids' cars. So we remove that barrier, that transportation barrier as well.
Are those cars donated in good condition usually, or is that part of the thing? Is you fixing them up?
Yeah, they are donated in good condition. Some need some work, but back in the day, we used to take them over to Monroe Tech, which was our vocational high school, and the kids there would fix them up and get them ready for us to give to our kids. But now we're going to use our trade school as part of that. So we'll teach the kids auto mechanics and how to get their car, safe and run, well. And so that will be part of the trade school also.
So how many people do you have on staff doing all of this? Because that sounds like a huge amount of effort.
It is a huge amount of effort. We have about 22 staff. So a lot of that growth was seen during COVID. So we really saw a lot of kids in crisis during COVID because both either mom or dad lost their job and could no longer afford to financially support their 18-year-old. So, a lot of kids came to us that way. But, a lot of our internal growth happened during COVID just to meet the growing demand.
Yeah, wow.
And we hire a bunch of our kids. I think 6 of my staff are previous clients. So, once they prove themselves and they're responsible, then we snatch them right up and hire them.
Yeah, great. Then do you have volunteers on top of that, on top of the staff?
We do. Before COVID, we averaged about 4,000 to 5,000 volunteer hours a month because we just couldn't do what we do without our volunteers. And then COVID kind of cut it back, but not too badly. But we've got volunteers who help with our mentoring program. We've got folks who come in and do an art program and a music program. And so, we kind of say to our volunteers, whatever your passion is, you'll find it here at Mobile Hope.
As you imagine the situation in Loudoun County at this point, what would be the best way that you could go out of business?
Us not having homeless kids.
Yeah.
That's what we kind of always dream of, that there are no homeless kids or kids in need. That would be the best way for us to go out of business. Yeah.
How do we do that? Do you have thoughts on?
I have a lot of thoughts, and sometimes they're not very popular because we really are the advocate for these kids. So sometimes we're very vocal in how broken the system is when it comes to supporting our youth. Mm-hmm. But there just needs to be different types of housing available, like pre-workforce housing, housing that's, that our kids can move into. There just needs to be a whole kind of shakeup of how difficult it is to get into programs. I mean, instead of programs being exclusive, being more inclusive and making it easier for folks to receive those services so that they can move themselves out of crisis. There's a lot that, we yell from the rooftops. The housing is the number one detriment here in Loudoun County that we just don't have enough of, for especially our homeless kids.
You said the programs tend to be more exclusive than inclusive. How are they exclusive?
So I'll give you a great example. We were doing a wraparound meeting with one of our kids. So that means a lot of different organizations kind of come together and work in their best interest. What can this program provide? What can this program provide? And one of the programs that would have been really, really good for our young fella said, oh, well, unfortunately, we don't consider homelessness a crisis, so he doesn't qualify. And so, we're like, well, maybe not for the 70-year-old who's been homeless their whole life. Okay, I can see that's probably not a crisis, but for an 18-year-old, I absolutely disagree. So it's kind of, there's so many barriers that they have to overcome first that it just makes the whole process of becoming self-sufficient very difficult.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah.
That just blows my mind, as you might be able to tell from my face.
Yeah, me too.
Wow.
So it's upsetting. So, as I said, we're very vocal in, just how the system is not set up to help these kids. And, so we have a lot of fans, probably 99% of the community loves what we do and our advocacy. But there's that 1% that really, doesn't appreciate that, I think. So, but we wear that with a badge of honor, truly.
Yeah. Yeah. So these programs, are we talking about government programs or private programs or both?
It's a little bit of both. And we've got great programs. Don't get me wrong. We really do. And we need them all. Yeah. But it's just very difficult, when we have a kid, an 18-year-old homeless in crisis, let's say with mental health or substance abuse, just how difficult that whole process is to get things lined up on a regular and consistent basis, knowing that they don't have transportation, they don't have a stable home to go home to. Right. So there's all those, when you peel back the onion, just all of those details that need to be figured out, and it's difficult.
And I imagine that just the state of homelessness or even being home insecure would kind of push up the amount of mental illness and substance abuse.
Absolutely. And so many of our kids kind of self-medicate because it is difficult to get in to see somebody on a regular basis. Yeah. That's just heartbreaking. So we try to get them into programs that help them overcome substance abuse. But, again, there's just a lot of barriers that exist. And if they don't have insurance or, they may be on their parents' insurance, but mom or dad is not going to carry them until they're 26. And so they're kind of, it's a lot of gray. There's a lot of gray area that isn't easy to work through.
Do you consider those to be barriers for is there a red line sort of for somebody that you can't help them?
No, I mean, we're not a one strike you're out organization. I mean, some of our kids have been with us for years and they're on strike number 42. But every strike that they overcome is one less barrier that they have to learn how to deal with.
Yeah.
So there's no real kind of, we certainly do a lot of tough love. So if kids aren't moving forward, then we kind of, we always say to them, once we start caring more about your future than you do, that's when we kind of step back. And so we'll move forward with you at any pace you want. But once we start realizing you're not moving forward, that's kind of the red line.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would be the worst way you could go out of business?
Probably financially, because we spend just on hotel stays alone, keeping the kids off the streets while we look for housing. We spend 30 to 40,000 a year. Just our Ubers and Lyfts, getting kids to where they need to go, the appointments, the pickups, all of that, is probably another 20,000 a year. I mean, so there are so many needed expenses, but I think for any nonprofit, it's probably financially, and we've got humbling support, don't get me wrong. And, but I think any nonprofit just worries like, oh my God, will the funding continue to come in?
So what are some of your main sources of funding?
We have a lot of, as I said, the community support's humbling. It truly, truly is humbling. And if I could turn my camera around, I would show you all of the thank you cards and everything that we get. But the, little girls and boys doing lemonade stands, those types of things from the community, people doing drives, but we also do private and public foundations. We do grants, federal and county and state grants. But we try to keep our finances very diversified. So if one kind of closes up, we still have the others to look at.
Is there a specific relationship that you have with the faith community in Loudoun?
We love our faith partners. We absolutely love our faith partners. So whether it's them bringing in food or doing drives or going out on the bus or being mentors or just an ear that a kid needs to talk to, you guys have been phenomenal. And we couldn't do what we do, honestly, without you. It's just been such a organic partnership and relationship that it's never been like we have to formally ask something. You guys seem to innately see what is in need, and without us even asking, it kind of appears at our door. So it's been wonderful.
We call that a God wink.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've got a great faith story, so it's just been a great partnership and relationship.
Yeah. Can I ask about your faith tradition?
Sure. So I don't know if you can see in my office, but I've got turtles everywhere. So I have a turtle tree back there and there's turtles everywhere. So when you guys come over to see our campus and all of that, I'm not the crazy turtle lady. There's a reason behind it. So when I was director of community affairs at the hospital, and when I was approached by that parent liaison, I kind of had to decide, am I going to stay at Inova making a great salary, or am I going to leave Inova and start MobileHope and really build MobileHope? So that night I went home and I was like, all right, God, if this is what I'm supposed to do, you need to show me a sign, show me a turtle. So I went home that night and half of my TiVo show was about a turtle. And I'm like, that's pretty good. So Casey, who is our other case manager, she texted me and she said, well, I had to stop my car on Route 15 to let two turtles cross the street. So honest to God, for the next 3 to 4 months, I'm literally picking turtles up out of the middle of the sidewalk, out of the middle of the street. I'm not kidding. So I finally said, all right, I get it. So the night came that I had to make my decision, and I'm walking away from a 6-figure salary to no salary. And I've got kids going to college, a mortgage, all of that. And so my parents called, and they live in Gainesville. And my mom said, well, honey, we're stuck on 66 and the license plate on the car in front of us says save the turtles. So I said, okay. So we thought, what a great mascot, right? It carries its home on its back, and it has a hard shell for all the judgment and negativity that these kids have to deal with. So that's my faith story. So every time I start feeling like maybe it's time for me to retire, I see a turtle or, so Yep, and all of our kids get turtle bracelets when we have them in stock. But yeah, so that's my fate story.
Wow, neat. Thank you. Um, what are some ways that we can be better partners with you?
I mean, really, as I said, whatever your passion is, you'll find it, whether it's being a mentor, coming out on the bus and helping to distribute clothes and food and hygiene, coming here on the campus and taking a tour and kind of seeing what this will become and those areas that are available for that, doing drives for us, I mean, all of that is always needed. So it's really kind of more individualized. Like, what is your passion? Do you want to be a mentor one-on-one with a kid? We've got that. Do you want to teach a finance class? We've got that. Be a math mentor. I mean, so it's kind of soup to nuts. I mean, really, whatever these kids need, we try to fill that gap.
Great. Excellent. You mentioned the bus a couple of times. Can you tell us a little bit more about the bus?
Yes. So we have been traveling in Loudoun County for the last, 20 years. I mean, when we were at the hospital. This is Casey too, Casey Wave. Our bus goes directly into neighborhoods, and we've done that, as I said, for about 10 years. And then when COVID hit, we realized that there was so much unknown and, angst that we kind of pivoted and quadrupled our bus services. And so we were going into 20 neighborhoods per week as opposed to 4 per month before COVID. And I think we are almost at 200,000 family members served since COVID, with almost over 9 million pounds of food. And then our crisis kids come out on the bus with us. I mean, it's a good opportunity. It's very cathartic. It's a good opportunity for them to kind of take a deep breath, just kind of evaluate their situation, see the positive impact they're making in their community, even though they're going through a lot too. So it's a really nice thing. So you guys could do that too. I mean, that is really just heartwarming. And we'll have 300 people standing in line waiting to receive whatever it is that we're able to give. So
on the bus, then you've got food, clothing, services.
Yeah, we do food, clothes, hygiene, perishable, non-perishable, toys, books, school supplies. We try to realize how difficult it is for these families to get to where they need to go. And we also try to let our families know, don't spend your money on things that we can provide you for free. So you can save it for your rent. You can save it for your gas, So we try to kind of fill that gap also.
Excellent. Well, anything else that you'd like to share with us? Anything else we ought to know about what's going on with Mobile Hope?
Just we're busy, we're growing. We would love for you guys truly to come and take a tour. Whatever day works. The one thing, he just walked in, that's why we have an emotional support dog for our kids, and his name is Parker. Just get involved. Look at the website, look at, what it is that we do, and see what areas you might be interested. One thing I will throw out there, Wanda cooks homemade meals every day for any kid on the street. And I think last year she cooked over 6,500 meals.
Wow.
So yeah, if people are interested, that's another component that would be gratefully appreciated. But,
wow. Okay.
But we truly appreciate the support that you guys have continued to give for over the years. Means a lot. And, it takes a village to do what we do, and you guys are part of that village.
Fantastic. Tell us the website again.
It's mobilehopeloudon.org.
Okay.
And then also, I don't really do Facebook, but we do have a Facebook, and Allison does a great job of doing stories of our kids and the impact that is being made every day. So for nothing else, follow us on Facebook, because there are some really tremendous tear-jerking stories that she shares. So,
yeah. Are there other chapters of Mobile Hope, or just in Loudoun?
Yeah, just in Loudoun right now. We are expanding. We have been asked for years to expand, and COVID kind of gave us that opportunity to do it. So we now go into Fairfax, Manassas, DC, and we have a run on Saturday to PG County. And so just having the bus is just such a breath of fresh air for some of these neighborhoods. I mean, wow. I had no idea just how difficult some of these families truly have it, outside of Loudoun especially. So we've been expanding, and so we'll see.
All right.
And our kids say all the time, why isn't there a Mobile Hope in South Dakota? So we're working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe developing it as a model to export.
Yeah, that's exactly right. A national model. So, if there's interest out there for anybody who might have an understanding of how to do that, we would love that.
Yeah. Well, a few names pop to mind. We'll have to see about that.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
All right. Well, Donna, thank you so much for taking the time to share with us. And we're excited to be a part of what's going on with Mobile Hope. We're praying for those kids who are homeless, hungry, thirsty, sick, trapped.
Yeah.
All of that. And so we just wish you the very best. And anytime there's something that we can do to help, please be sure and let us know.
Perfect. Well, thank you all so very much for inviting me and inviting Mobile Hope. We appreciate it, but we appreciate your continued support, truly. I hope everybody there stays happy, healthy, and safe. And let's pray for COVID to end and we can start hugging again.
Amen. Amen.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thanks.